So Roy Castleman joins me from Bedford. No, it's not Bedford, is it?
It is Bedford.
It is Bedford. Twinwoods Adventure down in England. Beautiful Bedford, great place to be. An amazing complex you've got there, Roy. You're the owner, the managing director of this incredible facility with wind tunnel, with flow rider, with climbing wall, with shooting range, with adventure escape rooms and kids rooms and many, many other things. Did I forget anything?
Lots of fun things, yeah, lots of fun things.
And you're a skydiver as well. I know you're originally from skydiving. But here we are, right in the middle of the pandemic in the UK, and I'm just trying to find out what's happening with different areas of air sports around the world and what's going on with the UK scene. Take me back, walk me through it, Roy, when you realised there was a problem, when this coronavirus really made itself known to your business.
Well, just going back slightly before that, Regan. I remember in 2019 for us was a little bit of a trying year. We had our transformer blow up for 5 months.
Yes.
So from August until December, we were basically closed to the tunnel. And other things were open. So that gave us a bit of a knock into 2019. And then when we got to 2020, we were cooking with gas. We were flying. January and February were really good months. March was an okay month. And then the 20th of March, it said, okay, you're closing down. And at that point, I realized, we were really in for a bit of a random and strange kind of time. So, things, we were locked down from the 22nd, and we haven't really been open properly since.
So the whole of spring, the whole of summer, with none of your facility open, not even any part of it you could use.
No, I mean we had a range of challenges with each thing. Unfortunately, if we were 12 individual elements, we would have been smiling because the government would have given us a bunch of money for each of them. Because we were slightly oversized, we ended up with no money for any of them. So we've been fighting the government. I think we've had, if you were a small organisation, a pub or a soft play area, you would have got between 15 and 25,000 pound grant. We for all of our facilities got 10,000 after fighting for it for 3 months. So but these challenges make us stronger. We're skydivers. We're not sitting around doing nothing. We're going to go and fix the world, right? It's given us a massive challenge to actually try and understand where the world's going and how we can see ourselves fitting into that. And I think I'm actually looking forward to 2021. I think we're going to nail this. I think, on a number of different fronts, we're doing some very interesting things.
You were very close to reopening. Just a couple of weeks ago, you had some good friends of ours were there flying, testing out your systems. What have you done, Roy? What have you put in place?
Well, the wind tunnel, I'm not sure how much you remember. I'm sure you remember all of it. You've been here so many times. But the wind tunnel is a 1952 construction. It was finished in 1952, and it was designed to be a spinning tunnel. So instead of going straight up, the wind spins up. That's an old construction right before wind tunnels were even thought of, and it's a recirculating system. So that obviously gave us our first challenge. We were not replacing the air in the tunnel.
Yeah.
So we've had to really think, how do we actually take a non-recirculating tunnel, so a recirculating tunnel, and replace the required amount of air? The government says you need to replace air 4 times an hour in any given gym space. So we've worked towards that. I've had a skydiver, Sam Bennett, has come in and helped us, and we've built this big construction downstairs, which I push a button upstairs and it says venting tunnel, and the air all sucks out at a given stage.
Wow.
And then we've also worked out that if we leave a small gap downstairs, we can actually naturally filter the air without causing problems on the flight chamber, without causing loss of speed, and still be able to replace the air every 4 hours when people are flying flat. So obviously if they're flying free flying, that's a better piece. We're ready now. We're ready to open. We've also had to do a few other things. So I've got into a partnership with a company doing cleaning products, and these cleaning products actually allow us to have a tunnel you walk through, and it sprays you with a product which basically clears 99% of COVID. So we have that. They also have a surface product which we apply to the surface, and it kills the COVID on contact. So we lots of different things to make sure we're safe when people come back in here.
So this walkthrough with this spray, where is that? Is that at the beginning of the building or at the tunnel? Where is it?
I'm going to have 3 at the moment. We're going to have one going into the soft play area, one coming into the building, and one going into the tunnel. So the tunnel is also now a one-way system. So you know where the quiet room was?
Yes.
That wall has been removed, so we can actually have people coming through and going out on a one-way system. So they get clean going in, clean going out, everyone is safer.
And you've now just gone into tier 4. What does that mean for anybody watching outside the UK? You can't do anything at all, no public.
Yeah, we're the bad boys at the moment. We're naughty boys and must stay at home. But basically you can go to work, but that's all you can do. You can't go and visit your mom for Christmas. You can't go and visit anybody in a different tier. If you do go outside and you're caught, you get a £1,000 fine. Going between tiers. You can go to work and back, so every time you leave somewhere you need to make sure you're either going to a shop or doing something for work. And I think given the viciousness of the new strain, we really are going to be seeing 2 or 3 months of fairly severe restrictions. Our main point is we get people in safely. We get people in and out and through safely. And what we're really working on now is we're having a single pod, so a single family pod or a pod of 6, which is the entire kind of focus of the government over here. Let's keep pods of 6 or single family pods. And when they start opening up, those are the sizes of groups that will come in. So we're having to change our entire business process. So we're selling private hires for 6 people. You bring your people with you. You get a color band which says you're red, green, orange, blue, whatever you are. You stay with those people. You stay in your color. If you don't, you're going home. We have cameras that get people's temperature as they walk in to make sure that they're the right temperature, and they're following a path that they never cross. So all of this is it's a big endeavor to try and make sure we do things properly. So.
Absolutely big, and you've probably been busier these last few months than you've been for the last few years with having to put all these processes in place and not generating any income.
Well, we've managed to generate income, so we thought fast. Sitting in my little box on the 20th of March, having a good cry because I'd lost everything and everything was going to go away. It's one of those where you say, okay, well, this is the worst case scenario. Accept it. How can I make it better? So we've managed to look at our escape rooms, which we converted over to running virtually over Zoom. We did that on the 14th of April, so we were to that market very early. That kept us fairly busy in April, May, and June. We managed to generate almost £50,000 in revenue in those 3 months just on escape rooms. Which is great, but when it's costing you 150 grand a month to keep the place open, it's not so great. The next stage from that was everybody went back to the pub in the UK at the end of June. They went back to the pub, so all of that fell away, and we decided to we didn't have any bookings, so we went out to the NHS and we gave them 150 rooms. Kept our staff working, did something good for charity, but at the same time we started pushing out to the corporate market, and that's where we've seen the biggest change. The corporate market is no longer going to be working in the office. They're all going to be working at home. And the working from home environment is very, very poor at the moment. And what we can bring to that, what we can add to it, is we can say, well, let's have some entertainment in there. Let's bring the team building in there. So our escape rooms we now have, and we have murder mysteries that we're doing. We have a range of wine tasting, beer tasting, all sorts of things, but all done virtually. So we're getting our staff to carry on working. We're giving them a future that they can push out to. And we have a vision. We're going to fix remote working for 2021. And at least both sides of those channels will bring us revenue. If we open up correctly on time, we will be able to take good advantage of that. And if we don't, we'll be able to take advantage of the current world situation, which is a very, very weird remote working environment.
I'm so glad you've managed to be able to keep your staff employed. I mean, that is such a relief. People have not lost the jobs. I mean, a lot of people have in other environments, but well done for working on that, Roy, and keeping your staff employed.
Yeah, no, that's the biggest single concern running a business. How do I keep my people fed? Yeah, and it really kind of bears heavily on the shoulders. Yeah, because not only have I got the adventure center, I've got the IT companies as well. Yeah, so we've got these 3 IT companies and the adventure center, and all of them are having a bit of a challenge. But by looking at this new environment and saying, well, how can we help in that new environment? Both sides, both the IT side and the adventure center side, can bring something to that party. So.
Let's talk a little bit about the area where you are in this fascinating location with the buildings and the history to it. I learned some when I was there with you last time, and it really blew my mind. One thing I've just learned now that you mentioned earlier, I didn't know the tunnel was a spinning air tunnel to begin with. Tell me what you know about the area, Roy, how it all developed in the 50s.
Well, I mean, the area was actually where Glenn Miller kind of had his fateful flight from. There was a big presence over here. Around the beginning, during the war and to the early 50s, this built up as a wind tunnel and RAE, Royal Aeronautical Engineers Association of different tunnels. So they had the supersonic tunnel, which is up to our right. I'm sitting there in Bedford at the moment. They had our tunnel, which there's a great story about a water tower. They had the 8-foot tunnel next door, which was actually a tunnel stolen from the Germans or repatriated from the Germans. And then they had a tunnel, the Red Bull tunnel down the end. And all these tunnels had different kind of angles around the aviation industry. And our tunnel was actually built in order for them to fly model airplanes into the tunnel, to see how they handled flat spins. Which when you consider the size of the construction, the biggest single prefabricated steel building of its type in the world at that stage, holding 4 bars of pressure, unbelievable feat of engineering. So they can see how a model airplane flat spins. It just blows them on.
the budgets that they must have had at the time.
And then to enable the tunnel, there was a water tower actually standing where our tunnel stands. And when you come in to tunnels before, you've seen the water tower at the end.
Yes.
And so they approached some guy, and he said, because they said they're going to have to knock the water tunnel down. And he said, no, I can move it. And he actually moved the 370,000-ton water tower, 90 meters up the road by cutting the bottom off and moving it across. It just gives you an understanding of we're in such a different world now, aren't we? We really are in a throwaway society. So that was one of the interesting stories. So.
And the supersonic tunnel next to you, I had a bit of a look at that. I didn't get to go inside, but that was used during the development of Concorde, I would imagine.
Yeah, Concorde. A lot of the different Boeing parts were developed here. The Harrier jump jet was developed on site, and then the ejector seats were actually developed in our tunnel.
In the tunnel.
In the tunnel, yeah. So, and there's a massive number of really interesting stories from the old guys that are here. And one of the things now is our tunnel is actually being listed. And last year it was listed as a Grade 2 listed site. So that means we have historical importance now, and it can't be knocked down, which is kind of handy. And it also means that we're looking at applying for become a charity and actually try and save this history. And I mean, some of these old buildings have got some really lovely old kind of shells of all the equipment on there, and all the buttons and the knobs and all these kind of amazing things. So we're going to try and recover as much of that as we can. And actually get the history put into a museum up here.
As well as your particular wind tunnel in your area, which is operational, is there anything else around which is still used?
Well, the Red Bull tunnel is the one that's still used. So there's two tunnels on site. So it's not bad to have Red Bull racing down the road. I haven't been able to get in yet, but I live in hope. I'm still trying.
So Roy, the plan for 2021, have you got a date when you can open yet, or is it still you just still wait and see what happens?
Well, I mean, they just literally 2 days before Christmas, they just cancelled Christmas. So we're in this really strange never land. And I think as we go over this festive season, we'll actually see the reality of what's out there. Yeah, and I'm very happy one way or the other. Yeah, if we carry on the same path and we look to help corporates, we've got people like Google and Spotify and Santander and HSBC and Passport House and Cooper, Deutsche Bank. All of these people are now our clients. We would never have had these clients if we hadn't had this opportunity to try and push ourselves further.
Amazing.
Yeah, so as we go out of this now, all of those clients now become corporate clients that can come and can take part in our activities. So all of this, so long as we work the plan and we follow suit, all of this will stand us in good stead. I mean, we've got a really good team building together now. We're having to stand back and say, listen, this is an entirely different world. We're going to have people working at home. We're going to have people doing all these kind of strange things. How do we do that best? And once the lessons we've learned through 2020 have really kind of given us a strong opportunity going forward. So.
Brilliant. Well, it's good to finish on an optimistic note there, Roy. I wish you all the best for 2021, and of course, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And to you, Regan, and to you, all the best. And don't be nasty to that lovely lady of yours. She deserves the best.
Thank you.
All the best, Lisa. Ciao.